Hello! Hey! Today is March 3rd, and we're on pages 12 and 13 today. It's our book club article, and I like this name, Where the Crawdads Sing.
Where the Crawdads sing. 好，这个地方你看到这个 Crawdads， 因为觉得好奇怪，这字什么意思呢？但它我们中文的 title 上面写的沼泽女孩所以这个可能跟沼泽有点关系，对不对？
Yeah, I like our subtitle here today. It starts out wonderfully. A story about fishing, growing up, and murder.
What?
Record scratch. Yeah, we go from like this happy life story, but then there's murders. So we know that there's going to be some challenges for the people we face in this story, but we got lots more to talk about, and we want to get through our article. So we'll see you on the other side.
Where the Crawdads Sing. You've probably never heard of crawdads, but you may love lobster. In fact, they are very similar. Crawdads look like lobsters, but are found in fresh water. To be where the crawdads sing is to be alone in nature. The same can be said for the main character in Delia Owen's novel, Where the Crawdads Sing. The novel follows Kia, a young woman trying to survive in the marsh of Barkley Cove, a small fictional town in the U.S. state of North Carolina. Kia's mother and siblings left when she was young. Her father stayed and taught her to fish, but he also abandoned her after a while. She continues fishing to make a living as she grows up. Following the advice of her friend Tate, Kia publishes 2 books on the wildlife of the marsh she lives in. However, Kia's life is turned upside down when Chase, her former lover, is found dead. As a suspect of his murder, Kia must prove her innocence to a town that looks down on her for her lifestyle. The novel is a mixture of many genres. It is a coming-of-age story, a romance, and a murder mystery all in one. Not only does Kia need to overcome the harsh environment of the marsh, but she must also face the challenges posed by society.
All right, so let's dive right into paragraph 1. You've probably never heard of crawdads, but you may love lobster.
Yeah, 我们来看第一句话他说 You've probably never heard of crawdads. 我也没有听过，在我看到这篇文章前，我也没有听过 crawdads 是什么东西。他说你也许呢，你没有听过 crawdads 是什么东西 ，but you may love lobster. Lobster, 这个我倒听过了，就是龙虾。
That's right. Lobster, of course, the big animal here. But we can see crawdads has an S, but lobster does not. Why? Because this lobster here means like the food, the meat of the animal called a lobster.
没错，所以这边的话，我们在使用这个 lobster 的时候，它没有加上 s， 是因为我们把它当作不可数名词。所以说，其实特别注意一下，如果你今天讲到任何的动物啊，你会加 s 的时候，你把它一个一个动物来看。那如果是可数名词的话，会加 s， 但是如果没有加 s 的话，就会变成是它的肉。
That's right. So if you said you've never heard of crawdads, but you may love lobsters, you're like, oh, he's so cute. But, you might like to eat lobster, but they're not really cute. There's even a funny Simpson episode where Homer has a pet lobster and is kind of ugly, and then he accidentally kills it, and then he loves his lobster a different way.
Yeah, 没有错。老师在提到那个辛普森家庭里面有一集，就是讲到说有那个辛普森那个 Homer 那个主角呢，他养了一只龙虾，就后来龙虾不小心意外死掉了，他就边哭着边吃掉他的龙虾这样子。所以你要提到 chickens，I love chickens 的时候加 s 就代表我很喜欢那种好可爱的小鸡。但是当我说 I love chicken 没有 s 的时候，我是说我爱吃鸡肉。
That's right. That's a very good example. Now, Anthony's never heard of crawdads, but I have. And there are a lot of words for crawdads in English. You can call them crawdads, crawdaddies, crayfish, or crawfish. There are a lot of names for this, but they all look like little tiny lobsters They are very common in America and Canada. In the north, the rivers. When I was young, I like to catch them. They'll pinch you. They're pretty cute looking, and then you just let him run free, and he'll walk away. He's really mad. He's got his claws in there.
好可爱哦
Yeah, they're pretty cute.
所以老师说，在这个美国哈，常常看到这种 Crawdads， 就是鳌虾，小小的很可爱。然后如果在美国啊、加拿大都有，所以有时候他以前在美国的时候，常常会跟这个鳌虾玩，然后让他这样夹它，因为很小，所以可能也不会痛，就很可爱。
I mean, it's like a little kid. He pinches you. Hurts a little bit, but not too much. Let's continue. In fact, they are very similar, just like we said.
没错，他说事实上呢，他们长得非常相像 ，similar 就是相近、相似的意思。
Crawdads look like lobsters, but are found in fresh water. That means there's no salt in the water, like sea salt or seawater.
没错，在这边他就讲说 ，Crawdads look like lobsters， 他们长得很像，对不对 ？But are found in fresh water. In fresh water 就在淡水里面找得到，不是像在海水里头里面有很多盐分的。
When we say something is found in some place, that just means that's where they live. So deer are found in the forest.
没错，所以说 deer are found 这个地方注意 deer 它本身就是复数了啊、are found in the forest 好像是在森林里面找得到这个鹿。
To be where the crawdads sing is to be alone in nature.
接着这句话呢，他讲说 to be where the crawdads sing。好，这个意思呢，什么叫做 where the crawdads sing？ 这是在那鳌虾们唱歌的地方，要在那个地方，意思就是 to be alone in nature， 就是自己一个人跟大自然在一起。
The same can be said for the main character in Delia Owens' novel, Where the Crawdads Sing.OK,
所以他就说了 the same can be said for the main character. 好，同样的道理，同样的这种画面呢，也可以适用于 the main character， 就是主角 in Delia Owens' novel. 好，就在我们这个作者的这个小说里面，也就是我们讲的这个沼泽女孩。
The novel follows Kia, a young woman trying to survive in the marsh of Barkley Cove, a small,fictional town in the U.S. state of North Carolina. I lived there.
Oh, okay. Oh, really?
That's where I was a teacher.
原来如此。好，现在这个地方老师就跟我们讲了，他这句话说 The novel follows Kia. 好，女主角出现了 Kia, a young woman trying to survive in the marsh of Barkley Cove, a small,fictional 这个字要特别注意一下 a fictional town 就是其实它事实上不存在的哦 in the U.S. state of North Carolina 好是北卡罗来纳州那当初呢老师也在那边教过书
That's right. I was a teacher, social studies teacher there in Charlotte, one of the big cities there. We were not too close to the ocean, and a marsh is a swamp, SWAMP.But a marsh sometimes can be dry. So a swamp usually is wet like the whole year, but a marsh sometimes maybe like in the fall or winter it will be very dry.
所以说同样是翻译成沼泽的话，我们还有另外一个字叫 swamp。老师刚刚拼过了 SWAMP。如果是 swamp 这个字的话，是一年到头几乎都湿湿的。但如果是 marsh 的话，有的时候因为干季跟这个比较雨季的话，还会有差别。有的时候这个 marsh 会是干的哦。
This is a really pretty name for a book. And in the sentence we have here, it's to be alone in nature. I will tell you that crawdads or crayfish or whatever you call them, they don't live in really deep water. They live in creeks, not rivers. Rivers usually feel deep. When there's not a lot of water, we would call it a creek, C-R-E-E-K. And so you can hear the water kind of trickle. So it's not a loud sound. The water is kind of soft. And usually you can hear a lot of birds because the water is not very loud. And you can walk pretty nicely through the water. You can wear your sandals and kind of have a nice river walk. So hearing the name of this book, I want to live there.
没有错，老师刚刚提到好多很漂亮的字哦，比方像 trickle 这个字，那种感觉是那种潺潺流水，这种小小的水，很小，没有很大声，所以你有机会可以听到那个蝉鸣啊、鸟叫啊这种感觉，然后你觉得，你可以穿着你这个 sandals 好这种凉鞋，你就可以去在那个溪上面走，也不用害怕被淹死哦，因为它的水不会很深。
Yeah, you just see a little crawdad walking around. It's a really pretty image that our first paragraph paints. Now let's find out what happens in our story after our break in paragraph 2. All right, welcome back to Enjoy English School. We're on pages 12 and 13, and we're in our book club article called Where the Crawdads Sing. We're starting paragraph 2. Kia's mother and siblings left when she was young.
OK， 第二段呢，他在讲到他这个我们女主角 Kia 的这个身世哦，她的身世实在是蛮辛苦的，对不对？他说 Kia's mother and siblings left when she was young。事实上，我有去稍微看一下这个书，它本身的话，它一共有五个这个兄弟，应该是加上他自己一共5个兄弟姐妹，然后妈妈先走了，然后爸爸的话酗酒啊，反正就是很糟糕的一个家庭，然后陆陆续续大家都离开。你看了之后觉得，哦天哪，好辛苦的孩子。
And I like the word Anthony says here. He says your brothers and sisters. That's exactly what your siblings are. So when we say siblings, that means both boys and girls. But sometimes brothers and sisters is a little too long. We can change that into your brothers and sisters. Maybe you have 3 older brothers and an older sister and a younger brother. Some families are really big. And it's hard to say them all clearly. So we have this big word we just say, siblings.
就是在这句话里面出现的 siblings， 它就是指这个兄弟姐妹。
Okay, let's continue. Her father stayed and taught her to fish, but he also abandoned her after a while.
OK， 所以这边他就说了 ，Her father stayed and taught her to fish。好，他这个爸爸呢就教他怎么钓鱼。好 ，OK， 然后也得留下来。But he also abandoned her.After a while， 那 abandon 这个字非常重要，就是指放弃的意思，或者把它丢了、抛弃它了。
Now, abandon in English, we can just say he left her. But when we say abandoned, we can use it in a few ways. We can talk about an abandoned building or a place that's now abandoned. This always means people used to live there and now they don't. So this was never like some place没有人去过的地方. That's not correct. Abandoned means 有 but 现在没有。
没错，所以这里的话就是人们曾经有，但是后来离开了，它是一个被废弃的，代表以前有被用过，它有这样的感觉。
That's right. She continues fishing to make a living as she grows up.
好，接下来下一句话就说了 ，She continues fishing to make a living.As she grows up， 好，在这里的话 ，make a living 意思代表是用这种方式为生，那还是不断去钓鱼来养活他自己。
Now, pay attention to the tense in our sentence here. We have the simple present tense. That's a 简单现在式, and that's because we're using a book. This is a book talking about a story for a range of time here. If this was a person like alive right now, let's say Kia is a real person, we might want to use the continuous tense. Kia is continuing to fish to make a living because she's growing up. We're going to use those 进行式加上她现在这样子. But because we're talking about a book, simple present tense feels a little better here.
没错，尤其是讲到书描述它情节的时候，用现在简单式是最容易使用的一个用法哦。
Now, when we make a living, that means that this is your job. So she continues fishing to make money.To pay the bills or whatever.
可能钓鱼养活自己啊，然后去卖鱼啊，然后之后换点钱，换点其他的东西来吃等等。
Following the advice of her friend Tate, Kia publishes 2 books on the wildlife of the marsh she lives in.
OK， 所以说他说 following the advice of her friend， 先特别注意一下，这边是一个分词构句，所以我们想说 following the advice of someone， 就是听从那个某人的建议，但是谁做这个动作呢？你要去看后面的主词。好 ，Kia publishes 2 books on the wildlife of the marsh she lives in。好，他为了听从他的朋友的建议，他朋友叫做 Tate， 然后呢，他就出了2本书，去讲述他呢在这个住的这个沼泽地，他的这些生活情况，还有他的野外的这个环境，这样。
Boy, the prepositions in this sentence are really good. So let's go fast not to get too tied down. We have 2 books.On a topic. When you have a book, 有关什么话题, we can say on. So 2 books on wildlife. 的意思是 2 books about the plants and animals. Then we have the of preposition. And of a lot of times means this is a piece of. The wildlife live in the marsh. 他们会算是 like 比较小. The marsh is the big place and all the animals have to live inside of it. So we might say the door of the car. The door, 车子的门 is smaller than the whole car. So we use that of preposition to tie them together.
Of the,你可能想到的是，如果是像我们这一辈的话，是 I'm king of the world, the king of the world, 世界之王，有没有？所以在这里的话是后面的话是比较大的范围，然后前面的话是比较小的。
However, Kia's life is turned upside down when Chase, her former lover, is found dead. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun-dun.
OK， 所以在这里的话
，Oh, sorry.
However， 你就知道 However 就是有个大转折了，对不对？他说 Kia's life is turned upside down， 好，把整个翻转过来。If you turn something upside down， 就整个就是颠倒过来，对不对？好 ，When Chase， 好，我们来了。Her former lover， 她之前的前男友怎么样呢 ？Is found dead， 居然死掉了。好，所以这个就是 murder 的部分。然后老师一直下那个音效档
or be like. Da-da-da-da, because you're happy. No, that's not where we're going.
No.
Okay, just like Anthony said, when your life is turned upside down, it's changed 100%. So, I mean, honestly, your life gets turned upside down when you have a baby, but this feels a little sudden. So we might not say her life was turned upside down when she had a baby because 你没有突然生小孩。
Yeah.
Okay, 我有一天就走路，然后就突然抱抱来了。
太神奇了。
Yeah. So this feels very sudden. Usually it's something you don't plan or you can't get ready for.
没错，这种晴天霹雳的感觉 turn upside down。毕竟你生宝宝还有9个月，你要下单还有9个月才会到货嘛，对不对？就是这种感觉。
Now, don't forget, dead is your adjective. Don't say die here. As a suspect of his murder, Kia must prove her innocence to a town that looks down on her for her lifestyle.
OK， 接下来这句话就说了 ，as a suspect of his murder， 这个 his 的话指的是这个 Chase， 也就是他前男友的死。OK， 前男友被谋杀这件事情，那他身为什么 ？a suspect 就是嫌疑犯。哦，这可能最后一通电话，对不对？是打电话给你的，或者是说，哦，你跟他之前有交往过，那你会不会是有情杀的可能性？他变成嫌疑犯了。Kia must prove her innocence。好，这个地方特别注意一下。如果说今天你被当作嫌疑犯了，就会有两个形容词，一个叫 guilty， 一个叫 innocent。guilty 就是有罪 ，innocent 就是无罪。那如果说它当名词的时候，我们会用 innocence to prove one's innocence， 就是说要确定，我不是我杀的，好，我要确定我是无罪的。To a town that looks down on her for her lifestyle， 然后这是你要对一群住在这个地方人，然后这些地方人都看不起你，都觉得说你这种生活形态不出事才怪，都觉得你是杀人犯。
Yeah, just like Anthony told us about the word suspect, we can actually chop that up and understand it in Latin too. Sus means sub, it means below. And then PECT, 你如果看很多 enjoy, 你应该知道 this is about your eyes. And so we look below. This is about looking below. We're looking for that evidence, 证明 to prove something to somebody.
没有错。所以 suspect 这个字的话呢，它就是当名词使用的时候，我们把重音放在第一音节，叫做 suspect， 好，就是嫌疑犯。但如果说今天你是当动词使用的话，你会说 suspect。重音再放在第二音节来代表它是动词。
Excellent.
Yes.
With that, let's get ready for our next paragraph. All right, welcome back to Enjoy English School. Let's finish up our final paragraph today. The novel is a mixture of many genres.
OK， 来，我们看第3段最后一段，它这个地方第一句话，他说 The novel is a mixture of many genres。 好，这个地方特别注意一下几个重要的字汇。第一个 mixture， 我知道你们晓得 mix。mix 就是把东西搅拌在一起 ，a mixture of something 就是好多东西的混合体 of many genres。这个字 genres 就是 many kinds of something， 只是这个字通常用在可能电影啦或是书啊的这种种类、文体、文类这样的话呢，你可以用 genres。这个字是来自于法文，所以说这个字它念法的话有点不太一样，它的 gen 它念 genre， 然后 re 是 genre 这样。
If you like to study English movies or books, something like that, genre, music, genre is a great word to know. You want to highlight that one. It is a coming-of-age story, a romance, and a murder mystery all in one.
OK， 哇，感觉上看到这一本就看到好多种了，对不对？他就说 It's a coming of age story。Coming of age 就是那种长大成人或是那种青春成长的这种主题。A romance， 它本身有爱情故事 ，and a murder mystery， 它到底是谁杀的 ？Who done it？ 对不对 ？All in one， 就是所有东西都揉成一个，它这3种都有。
Not only does Kia need to overcome the harsh environment of the marsh, but she must also face the challenges posed by society.
所以在这边的话，你看到这句话说 Not only does Kia need to overcome the harsh environment of the marsh， 这边特别注意前面3个字 Not only does Kia， 那个 Not only does， 因为是 not 带头，所以它前面会有一个倒装的形态，会出现 Not only does Kia， 这个地方你帮我画起来就好了 OK， 好，再来 overcome 这个字的话，通常是 overcome difficulties， 好 overcome a problem， 通常指的是指克服某种困难，除了要克服在沼泽区这种艰难的环境下生存的困难 But she must also face the challenges 她还要面对什么的挑战呢 Posed by society Pose, if you pose a threat to something or to someone 就是指那种就是给让这个东西产生一种威胁或者说对这东西造成威胁的话那你说今天还要来自于这个社会给她的种种挑战
With that, let's get ready for our vocab review. All right, friends, it's time for vocab review. Our first phrase today is to hear of, or in our story, heard of.
To hear of, or I have heard of, 就是指我有听说过什么什么东西。
Number 2, we have a verb to survive.
Survive 就是存活下来。
That VIV is always about 什么生命。Number 3, to abandon or abandoned.
Abandon, to abandon 就是去抛弃。如果说今天把它变成 abandon 加 ed 的话，常常会是一个形容词，是被抛弃的。
Number 4, we have another phrase, to make a living.
To make a living 就是以什么什么为生。通常我们会讲 to make a living by doing something 这样的说法。
Number 5, we have our noun, innocence.
Innocence 好，它们意思很多，但在这边的话指的意思是无罪的。好，我没有犯这个罪。
Number 6, to look down on somebody for something.
To look down on somebody for something 就是去看不起某人，因为后面的原因。
Number 7, to overcome.
To overcome 是一个动词，代表克服，通常后面会接 difficulties or problems.
And lastly, today we have an adjective, harsh.
Harsh 就是严酷的哈 ，harsh environment 这个环境非常的严酷。
All right, with that, we are all done for today, but we'll be back with day 2 with more of our Where the Crawdads Sing. Tell us, what is your favorite kind of story? Do you enjoy coming-of-age stories, romances, or murder mysteries? Let us know in the comments, and we're going to check you out tomorrow. For Enjoy English School, I'm Chris Gorski.
I'm Anthony.
We'll see you then.
Bye-bye.